Good morning. This is Omni View, episode 51 for May 15th, 2026. Balanced news perspectives. We'll cover what happened, how different viewpoints frame it, so you can decide for yourself. British Gas will pay £20 million after agents broke into vulnerable homes to install prepayment meters, raising fresh questions about how energy firms treat customers in debt. British Gas has agreed to the settlement after debt agents entered homes without following required procedures. The company acknowledged that agents broke into properties belonging to vulnerable customers in some cases. The payments address complaints about handling of customers struggling with energy bills. The BBC emphasizes the harm to low-income households and calls for stronger safeguards during debt collection. Industry observers point to the pressure suppliers face in recovering unpaid bills while meeting rules meant to protect those in hardship. Views diverge on whether the failures were isolated incidents or reflected wider practices across the sector. How do regulators decide the size of penalties when essential services are involved? Shifting now to energy infrastructure in the Gulf. The United Arab Emirates announced plans to finish a new pipeline that will double its capacity to ship crude oil without passing through the Strait of Hormuz. The project targets reduced reliance on the narrow waterway, where security issues have arisen during regional tensions. Construction is set for completion within 2 years. Bloomberg reporting presents the pipeline as a practical step to protect export revenues amid shipping risks. Regional analysts see the move as part of longer-term efforts by Gulf states to develop alternative export routes. Perspectives accept the strait remains a choke point, but vary on how quickly bypass infrastructure can offset potential disruptions. What volume of global oil supply currently moves through that strait? Meanwhile, Pakistan has taken delivery of another cargo of liquefied natural gas from the Persian Gulf, the second such shipment within days. Officials credit improved diplomatic ties for easing previous supply constraints. The imports target domestic energy shortages. Bloomberg coverage highlights how recent diplomatic gains have opened commercial channels that were previously limited. Energy analysts note Pakistan's import strategy now benefits from shifting regional alignments. Accounts agree the shipments bring short-term relief, but vary on whether the arrangement can scale into stable long-term supply. How do diplomatic relationships shape energy procurement for import-dependent nations? In paleontology news, scientists have identified the remains of a previously unknown dinosaur species in Thailand. The long-necked herbivore, named Nagatitan chiafumensis, is estimated to have weighed as much as 9 adult Asian elephants. The find is the largest dinosaur discovered in Southeast Asia so far, and was detailed in a study published in Scientific Reports. France 24 presents the discovery as a major addition to understanding prehistoric life in the region. Paleontologists stress that the specimen expands the known range and size of sauropods in Asia. Perspectives accept the fossil scale but vary on how much it revises models of dinosaur distribution across continents. How do new species finds influence theories about ancient ecosystems? A newly appointed member of the Bank of Korea's board warned of rising inflation pressures and financial stability concerns tied to housing prices and capital flows. The remarks, made in the member's first public comments, reinforced expectations of a more cautious monetary stance. Markets interpreted the statement as signaling a hawkish tilt. Bloomberg coverage focuses on the immediate market reaction and the specific risks cited. Central bank watchers note that board members often use early statements to set the tone for upcoming policy discussions. Accounts treat the comments as deliberate signals, but vary on how quickly any policy shift might follow. What data points would prompt the Bank of Korea to adjust its stance? The Indian Navy provided protection for another liquefied petroleum gas tanker transiting the Strait of Hormuz, the 15th such escort in recent months. The operation reflects ongoing efforts to secure energy shipments amid regional tensions. No incidents were reported during the passage. Reporting from online geopolitics discussions frames the escorts as evidence of India's expanding naval role in the Gulf. Maritime analysts view the repeated missions as a sign of sustained commercial demand for secure routes. Perspectives agree the strait remains a critical corridor, but vary on how long naval escorts will be required. What rules govern naval escorts for commercial vessels in international straits? Now, to really understand the British gas settlement, most coverage treats penalties as simple punishment. The process instead involves layered oversight that balances company revenue needs against legal safeguards for customers. Regulators typically require suppliers to follow documented procedures before any home entry or meter change, including multiple contact attempts and vulnerability assessments. When those steps are skipped, fines are calculated using evidence of harm and prior compliance history, rather than headline amounts alone. Next time you see a headline about an energy penalty, ask what specific rule was breached, how many customers were affected, and whether the regulator published the full compliance report. Before we go, watch for further statements from Bank of Korea board members that could clarify upcoming rate decisions. That wraps up today's Omni View. Remember, the best informed people read more than one perspective. If this show helps you do that, share it with someone who values fair coverage. See you tomorrow. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.